Family, your brother Greg. Just wanted to come on and connect with everyone. It's been a while. Yeah. Hope everybody is in a good place, a good space, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, materially. Yeah, kind of inspired to come on and say a few words. You know I'm a man of questions, so I'll ask. You see the shit that's going on over in Middle East, Palestine, Israel? Yeah, a lot of devastation over there. A lot of bombs being dropped. Backed by, of course, the Western powers, backed by the U.S., London or Britain, France. All this chaos is still taking place. That same spirit that gentrified the Native Americans, the same spirit that murdered and slaughtered the Aboriginal people throughout the earth, Australia, South America, Central America, the Caribbean, Africa. Yeah, a lot going on. Again, Israel, I understand, dropped, what was it? I want to say, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but you can look it up. They have dropped already over either 600 bombs, but I think it's 6,000 bombs on that small little space, Gaza, the biggest ghetto in the world. Over 2 million people living in I believe it's a 25-mile little strip of land. And on that land, all the borders are locked down by Israel. They control everything that comes in and goes out. So yeah, it's a lot going on. And I know a lot of people say that's not our fight, right? But, particularly black men and women and indigenous people, we are people of principle. Principle above everything else, right? Principle and the principle of the issue really needs to be addressed. It's and this is a prime reason why I wrote the poem Democracy, because your tax dollars, my tax dollars, your vote, I don't vote, but your votes voted the people in office that give your tax dollars to the Israeli government to buy weapons, because there's not security over there, because the Israelis took the land from the Palestinians, just like the Europeans that were let out of the jails over in Europe came to the Americas, and they decimated and wiped out the Native American people and took the land of the indigenous people. So the democracy, if you will, quote unquote, it doesn't represent the people. Because if it did, I know that good people of good conscience, of good heart, of good spirit would not allow their hard-earned tax dollars to go to support wars and hegemonic activity by the United States. I'll speak about the United States because that's where I live. And you would not allow that if you had any power. But it's obviously that the people are powerless, and the government basically just does what they want to do. So again, your vote doesn't count. That's why I wrote in the book Trying Times, From the Pyramids to the Projects, under the first chapter, Political, I wrote a poem dealing with democracy. I also wrote a poem dealing with Israel, right? Because the great Nina Simone wrote a song, Mississippi Goddamn. And the poem that I had written was a poem, Israel Goddamn. Yeah, so it's our artists are always so important. So when you see your children that have an affinity for art, try to cultivate that, because through the arts is where the Most High speaks, through the spirit of that artist. We have endless gifts that have come through humanity, and the Most High speaks through the people, trying to wake the people up. So yeah, I always say art is so important. I always say there's a oneness in you, there's a oneness in me, and that can be confirmed because there's a universal law that what goes around comes around. That's a universal law. And being that black people are universal people, that law and that karma is within our DNA. So if I do you wrong, that will come back around. There will be a season. People who are of the religious persuasion understand, hopefully, that there's a season. They may, I think in the scriptures they call it, it's a reaping season. You reap what you sow, right? So yeah, very important to keep that in mind. And I say we're all connected because I'll give you an example. You know how computers are connected via the World Wide Web? There's a scientific reason why they can computers can communicate, and that scientific reason is within computers. They have minerals in computers. They have cobalt, right? They have copper. They have, I believe, there's traces of iron. So all the trace minerals that we find in the environment, in Mother Earth and Father Sky, all those trace minerals we'll find in the human being. We find in its most pure form in its most balanced form in the black man and woman and the indigenous people. We'll find those traits. We have zinc in our system. We have copper in our system. We have all the minerals that allow us to communicate, allow our eyes to illuminate and see and process information. So the scientists, the engineers that engineer these computers, they're just taking that's basically a copy and paste from the original people. Before, I'll say it like this, before man and women has kind of fallen and lost the knowledge of who we are, the knowledge of the Most High. Before we have fallen, if I wanted to communicate with somebody, I wouldn't need a cell phone. I can just dial them up and communicate through a form of telepathy, right? I think I'm pronouncing that right, like a telepathic communication. Just like these phones, you can dial a phone number, or that computer, you can have an IP address. It's the same with the human being. We each have a unique code, a unique address. Every human being has a unique thumbprint, a unique eye print, right? So if I wanted to dial up my baby and talk to my baby, I can do that. I want to speak to my mother, I can do that, because each human being has that unique IP address, if you will, that unique phone number, right? So these are things that, being that we are following a European way of life, we lost all this fundamental knowledge. So that's why also one of the poems that I wrote in the book Trying Times, From the Pyramids to the Projects, it's called Footprints in Time, right? I think that's in chapter 3. Footprints in time, right? Are they yours? Are they mine? And the way the human beings are living today, we could say we have fallen. And there's so many signs of that. If we look at the scriptures, and I don't want to make this vid too long, I'm already rambling enough, but if we look at the scriptures, we'll see that we're in Revelation, right? Over 2,000 years ago, they wrote about the war that's going on over in Israel, right? They wrote about this in the scriptures. It's in Revelation. If you look at what's going on, go to your scriptures, you'll see it was all foretold. So just wanted to come on. I know we have some people in the quote-unquote conscious community say this is not my fight. It's funny because I was, I think it was on YouTube, they had a picture of Muhammad Ali, one of our giants, right? The greatest, Muhammad Ali, went over to Palestine, and he was championing the cause of the Palestinian people. Not because they were black, because of the principle that the Israelis are occupying their land. And all the signs show that we are in the season of reaping. I was listening to a newscast. This young lady who is a reporter. Her friend lost, her colleague, who she works with, lost, I believe it was either 17 or 26 members of their family. But either way, even if it's 17, you're losing 17 people in your family, your children, your wife, your mother, your grandmother, your cousins, right? 17 members of the family. One bomb hit and killed this woman's colleague, who was also a reporter. And she closed out the little news segment with this. She spoke a language. She's a Palestinian woman. And she said that the Palestinians have a saying. And she said it in her language. And she translated the saying into English. And she said that what it means in English, it's a simple saying. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. And she says that she realizes that the American government does not represent the American people. But she said the American people are watching the slaughter of the Palestinians. And she said that what goes around comes around. So this has been happening for years. So she said when it comes to America, that they'll be watching. So basically she was leaving us a message that maybe we should rethink our activity and our involvement, realizing that common good people do not have any power in the government. That's why I wrote what I wrote in the book. Because the ancestors, the Most High, was speaking through your brother, just like he spoke through and speaks through countless other artists and musicians throughout the world. And these are gifts. So I said before that I wrote this in question form. So if you ask the question, it'll raise you higher into the thinking of the Most High. And I wanted to do it in such a condensed way. So I didn't want to write a long book. I wanted to write a book that was condensed. And I wanted to write a book that will hopefully raise the level of consciousness of people so we can change our ways and change our activity. Because I see so many mistakes being made over and over and throughout generations. And I believe that it is the time we are in reaping season. If you look, I'm sure everybody under the sound of my voice is aware that with that mass shooting they just had up in Maine, right? This dude just came out and killed 20 people. It could be more now. Last time I heard anything about it, it was 20 dead, 50 or 60 injured. And right after that, there was another one, a mass shooting, where they found 5 people dead in their homes in North Carolina. And I believe it was in Clinton, North Carolina. So everywhere you turn in America, in Babylon, And the scriptures write about this. You're seeing death, mass shootings right now are reaching almost the 600 mark. That's just mass shootings. And mass shootings in America are considered, if four people or more die. And just this year alone, there's been over 565 mass shootings in America. That's not counting all the other shootings. So we are in this time, in this season, we are in the reaping season. So I just wanted to come on and share that yes, black people in particular, we are people of principle. We are universal people. So anybody who has a platform and claims to be conscious needs to be addressing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Just like we have conflicts that we need to be addressing in Haiti. We have all over the continent of Africa, all over the United States. Black people, the indigenous people, yes, we are under attack. We've been under attack. But we are also the universal people. We are the people of principle. And wherever we see injustice, we speak on it with conviction. Because what goes around comes around. I just wanted to say that. I've heard, we have people online, I don't really want to call names, but they want to be the prince of this and the King Kong of that. We gotta really get into the thinking of the Most High. And there's no slight to take away from black folks' issues. But again, we are the gods, we are the goddesses, and we are principled people. So if we witness a slaughter, speak on it. You have a platform, speak on it. Because if not, the titles aren't necessarily taken. If you're talking about you a prince, titles are given, right? Titles aren't, I just go here and say I'm the king of this or the prince of that. No. That don't happen. That's ego. Titles are given. So I just wanted to come on and say that with conviction. If you have a platform, make sure you're chanting down Babylon wherever it is. The motherland, the Middle East, anywhere, Asia, South America, Central America. And just understand that if you read this book, available on Amazon, Trying Times, From the Pyramids to the Projects, you'll see it may have come through me, but it's really, if you look at the words and parse what I'm saying, it's really, hopefully, it's the Most High speaking through your brother. And I'm no different than any of you or any other artist. We all have an affinity for certain things. And my plea is that we recognize our greatness, our strength, and see that all that our ancestors suffered, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, now it's in our hands to come together, use our voice, use our platforms, and speak about the atrocities. And what goes around comes around, family. Your brother, Brother Greg, good to connect. May the whole Most High bless and we'll connect soon. Peace and love.